Oh, hello world, hello universe, hello everything and everybody out there who happens to be tuning in. This is the Real Resilience Talk podcast, and guess what? I'm still Cam, trying to be the best I am. That's all I know how to be, man. Again, as I've said before on this show, man, and ladies and gentlemen and all humans, hey, it's real. It's real. It's raw. And that is honestly the only way I think that we're ever going to get anywhere on hard subjects is if we are honest, straightforward, and real about them. And that's the only way. So here's the thing. Up front, you may hear some bad words on this because I tend to express maybe some four-letter words, but I think it's all about in the way that you use words. But here's the thing, too. My friend right here and I, we support and defend the Constitution, so we shall utilize our freedom of speech. But I promise nothing will be said maliciously or derogatory or hurtfully on purpose to anyone. But we got to be real. We got to be raw. And sometimes you just got to say shit sucks. So that's where I'm coming from with that. But this is episode 57. Y'all done heard my rant. This is no reflection of any official organization or anything of that nature. These are just two human beings expressing themselves who happen to be Americans who have that First Amendment. So don't try to get me canceled. I see y'all on TikTok doing dances and stuff. Don't try to get me canceled for speaking about resilience and things like that. But on that note, Justin P, everybody give it. Yeah, I got Justin P out here, man. People don't know this, but Justin was the third episode. He was the third ever guest on this show to ever. So, brother, thank you, man. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on here. And just living it up, living the dream, of course, and doing great, living life.
Man, if y'all don't know, man, this guy, he's a talented human being. He is a warrior, right, by trade and by his passion and what he pursues right now to defend the nation and defend our interests and our Constitution, most importantly. But also, man, he's a musician. He's a singer. What was that little instrument you was playing that one time? What was that one? What was that one?
The kalimba. I actually have it right here.
I never heard of this. Look at that little kalimba right there. Y'all can see, look at it. He know how to play that thing. Man, I'm talking about this gentleman is one of the big things y'all all hear me talk about on here is having healthy outlets and how do we channel our energies, our stressors, our good things, our bad things. It's all about how we channel it, right? And man, you define someone using healthy outlets to succeed in life. But I understand also you're not perfect. None of us are. But listen to this episode, y'all. I guarantee he's going to drop some knowledge bombs on y'all on tangible things that you can try, or maybe someone you love or someone you lead or someone you can influence can try to make themselves better and more well-rounded. And then we can put our energies into healthy outlets instead of destructive outlets that are never good for us. So off the top, y'all know what resilience is to me. I've said it the entire time since this whole show began. It's like Stallone said, it's about how you hit, it's about how you can get hit, and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. But that's my definition. I'm going to put it on you, bro. Hey, what's resilience to you, Justin?
So resiliency to me is to be able to keep pushing yourself and keep moving forward, as you said. In the face of extreme adversity, whether that's physical, mental, metaphysical, whatever the case may be for what you're going through, I define it as any sort of adversity that you're going through. So obstacles of any type of nature, and to be able to keep pushing through those obstacles and to motivate and to keep just pushing yourself forward, whatever in goal aspect you are trying to achieve, then to me that's resiliency, to just keep going no matter what you take. So I would say our definitions are pretty similar. I just worded differently.
No, and that's the beauty of the word but a lot of people will say, I don't even know what resilience is. You know, some people think it's a fluffy word. It's a word that's been, captured by a lot of, Care Bears of the world, if you will. A lot of people call me a Care Bear. It's cool, man. I be hugging trees and out there barefoot in the grass and stuff. It's cool. But at the same time, resilience is perseverance. It's being able to have those calluses to be able to endure, but also, man, it's also to grow, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and selfishly do a plug. For those who don't know, I've been talking about it for a while. I did publish a book called All Things Considered, 33 Gems of Resilience. Ooh. And right there in the beginning, I put the definition of it. And where do I get the definition? For me, obviously I say like the Stallone one, but we all have a different definition. I'm coming at it from the same place you're coming at it from. And it's actually the Marine Corps. It's the Marine Corps' definition of it. And per the United States Marine Corps Combat Operational Stress Control Doctrine, that's COSC, Marine Corps Order 5351.1. I never thought when I grew up I'd be on a podcast reciting Marine Corps orders, but this is a very good definition, and it's on page 11 of 33 Gems of Resilience that you can get on Amazon, Kindle, or I'm about to do the Audible version of it too. But and this is straight from the order, from the doctrine: the process of preparing for, recovering from, and adjusting to life in the face of stress, adversity, trauma, and tragedy. So it's exactly what we were saying. And that's why I always ask, because everybody has a different thing. But that right there, that's the one for the book right there. But it's exactly what we were saying, man. But in saying that, how are some ways, because I know you've been resilient. I mean, you've been away. I know you've been away from your family, serving your country overseas, and forward operating environments, and you've been out there making a difference. How have you maintained some resilience in your own life, my friend?
So for me, as you mentioned before, healthy outlets, right? So for me, being able to express myself in these different hobbies and activities and just things that I can give to the community and keep myself productive on, keep my mind off those things, because when you're stationed, for me, when I'm stationary and I start have my little pod, my little room, and I'm just in there, and then I just in that space.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, it's a great thing. It's a great thing to have, and it's a great opportunity. I'm very ever eternally grateful for it. But for me, it's a space where I can also tend to overthink and really just have that feeling of isolation, as you said, since I'm stationed overseas and already in a foreign country away from family that I'm unfamiliar with. Well, at least at the time, right? A little bit more. It's changed a bit more now, but the same concept can still apply and can definitely affect me on other days, if not today, right?
Yeah.
So for me, getting out of my room and doing something outside is definitely something that helps me stay resilient in the things I do. And with those healthy outlets, as you said, I have my hobbies. So I play guitar. I'm a musician. I play other instruments. I learn different instruments. I keep myself focused on my education, right? And studying. My more recent hobby is studying Japanese, a language.
Go ahead, bro.
A foreign language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken 2 college classes for it, and I've studied a lot. I have a little safe space for where I study, and it's also really convenient for me to just ask some Japanese locals that also speak pretty good English as well to be able to assist me, because they always love teaching different foreigners
as they laugh at us as we try, right?
as they laugh at us as we try. Yeah, I'll be trying to say something Japanese or broken Japanese, and then they say, "Oh, English, okay," and I'm like, "No, I want to practice, please."
Yeah, right.
But I don't tell them that. But yeah, you know what I mean.
I do.
So yeah, of course, with those things, yeah, those are, like I said, just getting out of my room, volunteering, giving to my community, right? Whether it's the local community on base or other communities like the Japanese, keeping that community relationship together, and also to just be productive, right? And for me, being productive is a way for me to keep my mind off of the overthinking thoughts that may overcloud me when I'm in my room. And of course, there are things that I like to do in my room, right? Like I'm a big video game person,
right on,
and I'm a big person that watches anime and just likes to stay in my. I can cope, or I can be a hermit sometimes, but I definitely need to maintain that balance, because finding that balance of just staying in my room and just relaxing, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But at the same time, it's always helpful to get up and get out and be active. Whether it's going to the gym too.
That's right.
It's another big thing. Exercise, of course, as a Marine, it's important. Right.
Most definitely.
And then
most definitely.
All those other things that I mentioned before about just being productive. So
what I love is that you're doing exactly what, for anybody out there who's not affiliated or is aware of the Marine Corps, right? There's a concept, it's a philosophy, it's an approach, and our great right now, Sergeant Major Ruiz, the Sergeant Major Marine Corps, and the awesome, amazing General Smith, he's their current commandant. they're really pushing Marine Corps Total Fitness, but it's not something that's just exclusive to Marines. The idea is holistic approach to wellness, holistic. So the 4 pillars being physical, social, mental, and spiritual, right? And you just described right there, bro, like you're hitting all the pillars and all those different activities that you discussed and you mentioned, right? And, there's some people that will go, oh, video gaming, right? Yeah, but not just video gaming. And video gaming is actually good because you connect to people, you're problem solving. But if all you did was play video game, no, that's not good. It'd be the same as if all you did was pull ups and run every single day. You would never get stronger because you don't give your body any time to rest and recover. So that B word you said, I'm still almost 40 years old trying to figure that B word out, you said, and that's balance, right? It's balance. But I've always respected and admired the way that you approach things because I've seen it firsthand. It's one thing, y'all, I'm telling you, I can sit up here and talk about these things. People come on the show, we talk about these things, right? But I'm going to tell you, and many of the guests before too, but this is a man, a warrior that I've seen actually do these things in action on a consistent and disciplined basis, because you can have all the motivation in the world. You can have all the inspiration in the world. You can have all the hopes in the world. But if you don't have consistency and discipline, you're going to fall short. It's just the way it is. But I've always respected the way that you get out of your comfort zone to say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I mean, for anybody else out there that's listening that may be younger in an organization, it could be the Marine Corps, or you could be whatever. This guy right here started like a mentoring group, like for other service members to be able to connect, to be able to sharpen each other up, to be able to vent to each other, to express things, what dilemmas and troubles, but also to bring in, and I've been there before, you've invited me via Zoom sessions, to come in and have a conversation with, other young service members, or there's been some elders there as well. But it's that whole concept of Marine Corps Total Fitness, steel sharpens steel, taking care of each other and sharpening each other. And every day is not perfect, man. And you're not perfect in all domains all the time. But the goal is to have that holistic approach, because if you can be pulling out your best potential in all those domains as a human, well, for warfighting or defending freedom, you're going to be way more lethal now because you got all your things intact. And that's a readiness issue. And it's a warrior approach to life. And I give you a big salute, man, for doing those things and being willing to get uncomfortable. And you feel foolish, I'm sure, when you go out in town and you're like, let me practice this Japanese I learned from the textbook, right?
100%. Yeah, it's like I said, there's always a start to where you want to, whenever you start anything new. And to me, like that process, and that I think what you said before about striving, like even though we're all not perfect human beings, right. I think the idea of wanting to be perfect and striving to be perfect, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
To believe that you literally are perfect, and like, oh, I am perfect, there's nothing wrong with me, I think is kind of flawed, because human error is always present, in my opinion, and it's always going to be something that's there. And as much as we want to mitigate it, it's something that's just always going to be present, because we're human. It's just in our nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. So being able to strive for that perfection is always a good thing. That's all we can do, right? And that's good enough. And I want to plug also, like, let it be known that, like, I may seem like someone who's like a person of an older generation, but no, I'm a pretty young dude. So let that be known that I'm a man that's just like, I'm only 21. All right. So like, don't, whatever situation it is.
See, their whole generation doesn't suck, you old heads. The whole generation isn't garbage, you old heads out there. This whole generation, shut up. They said about your generation too. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, like, I'm only 21, right? So I'm still figuring it out. So like, let it be known that whatever, I'm only telling you what my experiences have been. So of course, everyone else's experience and life experiences are going to be different than mine, and I understand that. And I'm just telling what I have been through and what my definitions are, right? So going off of that, for my age, it's funny because I want to bring up that, like, some people think that, like, the way I talk and the way I act is very older. I had someone actually yesterday was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm 21." They're like, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah, why?" They're like, "Oh, I thought you were like 25 or 26. Like, huh,
he's got an interesting old soul.
An old soul. And I'm like, it's interesting because people don't expect me to be that young, right? Because of just the way I conduct myself. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but
no, man, you're calling like it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called
exactly.
like it
And
is.
keeping
And
it
that's why
straight.
we want to have this as real and what you're sharing right now. And this is why I invite anybody on the show, right? The way I look at this is if you're 5 or 85 and you're alive, then you obviously know how to thrive and stay alive. So you know something about resilience. And what you're saying right now, what I'm saying on this episode may not help or reach every single individual, but somebody out there is going to hear it and go, hold up, what's Justin into? What he did, a kalimba? What's that all about?
A
You know what I'm saying?
kalimba.
What is that
Yeah.
thing? What is that what it is? Did I get it right that time?
Yeah,
No.
kalimba. Mm-hmm.
I did it. I said it right. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know what you say may resonate with somebody else, right? So I say, man, share it. He's not tooting his own horn. He's not up here trying to say I'm perfect. He's trying to say what we're all saying is that we're still trying to figure it out. I'm much older age-wise and spins around the planet, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So if any of y'all listen and know the answers, hit me up, DM me, and tell me what the answer to life is. 'Cause I'm
For
trying to figure it
real.
out, dog.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, with those things, it's always a struggle, and it just, for me, it definitely it motivates me, I guess is the right word, to just keep myself productive and busy, so that way, whenever like I do get a little bit older, I can also have that weight of experience. I mean, experience is experience,
That's
but
right.
like I feel like when it comes to other people perceiving that, it's always like usually like the experience and the whatever your history is, I think
Right.
is always a big factor into that. So like I said, going back to community relations, right? I think that's a big part into just having that sense of balance and resiliency, whether it's learning about different things about a different culture,
Yes.
learning different things about just something that you're unfamiliar with. And it's important because you never know when you might find interest in something and then you go, oh yeah, I have this too now. Or you learn about some other different history or different culture that you may or may not have been exposed to.
That's
Or
right.
maybe you heard of it before and you're like, oh wait, I remember this from this place. Or
That's right.
I remember when I talked about this like in high school when I wasn't paying attention and falling asleep, right? And it was just like, hey,
Well, we don't know, like
there you go.
we don't know what we don't know, right? And that's one big thing about, you know, self-actualization or the human process. You know, I read a lot on Bruce Lee, and one of the things in his book, Striking Thoughts, y'all, amazing book. It's edited by John Tuttle, but it's all like Bruce Lee's writings over the years. And one of the things he says is like all knowledge is ultimately self-knowledge, right? And to live is to express, and to express you have to create. So like, what are you continuing to do? And it's not you got to continue to like, we got to earn more profit margin next quarter, or you're like chasing your tail or chasing the next accolade, but are you growing in some way? And you can grow in many ways, right? You can grow in your community outreach. You can grow within your language, or whatever. But another cool thing about it is, and I always say this, and I believe in this 100%, is the concept of sympatheia, that we're all connected. I know sympatheia is not the only one that says that. Sympatheia, look that up, man. It's powerful, but that we're all connected. And I believe this in my heart of hearts, man. People need people. So the fact that you're tapping into that community outreach aspect, man, it's not just helping you, but it may be helping someone else. And I don't care who you are, man. When you do something nice for somebody else, man, you feel good about it, right? And you're able to connect with other people. And sometimes maybe you're just in that position of doing that thing, so you can actually be in a position to help somebody or to share an experience that you had, one of those experiences you were just citing, that helps them be better. And ultimately, as a human species, we are helping each other. That steel sharpens steel, that one team, one fight concept, that sympatheia. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think it's also important to just acknowledge and just remember that, at some days, there's always going to be some of those days where you're just going to fall flat and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fail. And I know it sucks and it's kind of a downer, but it's just how it's going to be. That's how life is. And honestly, I think when it comes to life, like life is boring without any mistakes, in my opinion.
That's facts.
And I think that even though knowing or hearing, when you hear like, oh, I'm going to fail in my life, or when someone's telling you, when you're trying to be motivational, you're like, oh, I'm going to fail. Oh, that's not really motivational. But
right.
To me, I think it's just embracing the fact that also you're not perfect, right?
That's right.
It kind of circles back to that. So I think that like accepting and acknowledging the fact that you will fail, or you might fail, or you will fail, just accepting it regardless. And it's definitely also a growing aspect of maturing and realizing that I'm going to strive and I'm going to do my best at these things, but there are definitely times when some days maybe it's just harder for me to study.
Yes.
Maybe some days I just don't want to community relations. I want to focus on myself, or just I didn't do what I was wanted to do, or like whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of different scenarios, but I think acknowledging that and accepting it is just definitely a way to also grow and learn to find that balance of like, hey, yeah, I'm going to strive, but at the same time, I understand that I'm a human. And I guess being humble is also kind of a way to go through it. I don't
Most
try to tell
definitely.
people to be humble, because there's a difference between being humble and being confident. So
Mm.
confidence is just, I could be humble and I could like know when to step back and, ground myself, but at the same time, I can also be the loudest person in the fucking room. Pardon my French, but
No, it's
hey,
real. It's
that's how
it's
it
real,
is.
bro. It's real. And there's nothing wrong with being a humble warrior, right? Like we have this bad like you could be confident and humble at the same time. You're just saying, I know I'm not perfect, right? But with babies learning how to walk or even exercise, you talked about that. That's just an example we all know of. But like you're ultimately seeking failure. That's where the growth is. That's where your muscles grow when you reach that muscle failure, right? You exert to the maximum of whatever the thing may be, and then you grow because it builds up stronger. And that's the same with anything. I read something, I think yesterday, it was like letting perfect be the enemy of starting, or letting perfection be the enemy of good is like saying, I would play the guitar, but I don't know how to, so I'm not. Like, of course you don't know how to because you've never tried it. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
you're just going to build upon skills. And no matter what it is, I mean, I think it's a Florida State a study. I forgot the doctor's name, but I learned it from Bobby Oliver, a mentor of mine in the comedy world. But she cited it in her book, The Tao of Comedy. It takes 10,000 hours to master something. And you're not going to get it. There's no shortcuts. There's no, you can't, no cheat code to life or to the things that are going to really bring, personal satisfaction. But I know there's probably somebody just so far in our 20 minutes of talking, they're like, look, Justin, shut up. You don't know my life, bro. Shut up. Like, bro, you don't even know I'm like mad depressed. I'm like, you don't even know my trauma from where I grew up at. I can't catch a break, bro. Like, what are you talking about? All this, like, oh, good for you, bro, that you can just go ahead and study stuff and you can go ahead and play your little music in kalimba or whatever. Good for you, bro, but you don't know me. What do you say to somebody who's thinking like that? Because I know a lot of us do, and I have before.
Mm-hmm. Well, first, of course, they're entitled to that opinion, their perspective. I don't know them, and I don't know what they're going through, and that's fine. I just, for me, to someone like that, to someone who just believes that, oh yeah, they don't know what they're going through, right? And that's okay, that's fine. And of course, if they were willing to listen to me, I would definitely open up and say, hey, can I give a perspective? And unfortunately, I can't really do that, so I'm going to say my perspective anyway.
There it
But
is.
yeah, so for me, to me, when it comes to going through things like that, I think it's also very important to remind them that we're human and that we all have similar experiences. Or if not me, there's definitely somebody else that also feels that way, because the feeling of depression, to me, it's very isolated and you feel like you're alone. It feels like it's you against the whole world.
That's true.
And you're in that isolation mindset, and it's of course it's not healthy, especially when you're by yourself, because then you end up making a permanent decision or for a bad decision.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So for me, I definitely also have been through depression at 21. Like I said, I'm 21 years old, but hey, this is my life experience.
He got a lot of miles on him, y'all.
a lot of nah. But like I said, I'm just gonna keep it real for this. I also have been through some depression and some resiliency, and been through a lot in my coming of the years in my time, one in stationed overseas, but also just as a human being,
yes.
Right? So I've been through some stuff. As someone who's also attempted suicide before, it's definitely not worth it, because you then realize, for me, you realize at that moment that I didn't really want to do it. I regretted it immediately as soon as it happened, because it was just that oh shit moment, right?
Right.
And everything that I was feeling before about just wanting everything to stop, wanting the pain to end, I'm sure that can be a familiar saying for some people. Like, I want this feeling to end, and I want to just be over with it. And this is like in that isolation mindset, this is my interpretation and understanding of how I can achieve that.
Yes.
While it's an extreme decision, it's a decision regardless.
That's
so
fair. Very fair.
And for that, just going through that myself and having to take care of in some psychiatric ward, and being able to connect with other people that have been through similar things. Don't get me wrong, it's like it's definitely a bad feeling, and it definitely is worse. But at the same time, we find ways to joke about it. We found ways to joke about our suicide jokes, and I was like, hey, this is our way of coping, man. And while it be morbid, I think being able to laugh and just look at it from that standpoint is healthy to some degree. Of course, you got to keep it real sometimes, but to find some reasons to smile, even in that lowest point of my life, because for me, that was definitely the lowest point of my life. There was other things, but we're not gonna get into that, at least not right now, right?
Yeah.
But for me, that was the lowest point of my life, just being in that dump and being in that mud. And while I had other people, it was just, like I said, it was pretty bad. But it also, in that moment, I think when we hit our low, I'm gonna quote a TV show for a second, but it went like, when we hit our lowest point, we're open to the greatest change. And that's from a TV show, The Legend of Korra, and the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe. And it's, if anyone knows that show, it's awesome.
Say it again for me, please. Can you say it again?
When we hit our lowest points, we are open to the greatest change. And to me, when I was in that lowest point, it had me open my mind to the different possible, like, it made me remember how much things I took granted for. The simple things, like having a roof over my head, having access to food and water, basic human necessities, right? And I took that for granted because, and like the small, like human, what's it called? Like material items that we like our phones, our computers, our video games, our anime, our TV shows, our ice cream, fucking Japanese ramen, right?
Oh, it's so
all
good.
Those small
and Japanese
things.
Ice cream, by the way, that's very
and
good.
Exactly, dude. Everything in Japan is awesome.
It's so better. Yeah.
Hey, or other countries like maybe you're really into insects and you want to go to Australia, or you really like animals and you really want to go to other different parts of the world and other European countries, right? Whatever the case may be. But those small things, like those things that we appreciate about life, for me, I think I took for granted because I just pushed that all to the side and just wanted to throw that all away when I tried to make that permanent decision for myself, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in that, like as I said, circling back, when I hit that lowest point, I really realized that all those things are really valuable to me, and I was like, oh yeah. At that point, I said, I'm never going to take those things granted for again, because those things are important. Those little things, while maybe small at first and at a glance, it also contributes to maintaining that balance of work and personal life, and just figuring it the fuck out, as we've been saying.
That's right, man. Fit-fo, baby. Fit-fo. That's what you got to do sometimes. Figure it the fuck out.
Exactly, 100%. And in that moment, I was just in that, just repeating those things, like, oh yeah, these things, reminding myself of all those things. And as I said, that change, and that's not to say like, hey, yeah, I've also been through this, but I'm just trying to keep it real about what I've been through.
Right.
And I want to share my experience. And of course, like I said, normally I would ask the person. I think that's also important. Whenever someone wants to say those things to me, like someone's calling out for help, but they don't want to receive it, or they just want like someone to listen to, but they just don't know how to say it properly, or they just don't know that's their language of saying that.
That's
and
true.
To me, I don't have that different, or I don't have that approach, but other people do. I know, I understand that other people have different approaches to how they want to talk about certain things. So being mindful of how someone else feels, and being able to just talk and ask, well, for one, just like, hey, because not everyone wants to hear what you want to say, like all the time, especially in a one-on-one setting like this.
I needed to hear that. And no, I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious. I need to work on that, and I appreciate you saying that, because you're right.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and of course it's different in this setting, but if it's in one-on-one setting, if we're applying it to like a real life scenario where we're not on this, or you're in just talking to your friends and one of them just goes off to the side and you're in that real life scenario, right? You're like, hey, oh yeah, hey, what's going on? And then they tell you all that stuff, as you said, like, hey, yeah, this is what I'm feeling. Oh, you don't know what I'm going through, blah, 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 right? But then at that moment, it's like, hey, yeah, hey, man, like, I don't know what you're going through, but I can at least try to help understand. So can I offer my own advice, my perspective, and my experience if you're okay with that? Because that's generally my safe approach, because you never know if someone's like really gentle or really sensitive to that topic, or if they're just like trying to gaff it off, right?
Right.
So from there, you can kind of determine what kind of person and how kind of experience and what their approach is going to be from there. And from there, I just kind of saddle on. And then also, I think it's important to note that even though that's my approach, it doesn't always work. And I've had this experience where some people just don't want to be helped.
That's
and
true. That's
they
true.
just are stubborn about it, and they just refuse to receive help. And while it does hurt me and it does make me feel some sort of way, I've learned to accept that as much as I want to be a saint, some people, the best way to capture this is the saying of, you can lead a horse to water or a river, but you can't teach him how to drink, right?
That's right.
And for me, it's also been a struggle because I'm always been a person that just wants to help and sometimes try to pry too much into their personal life. And I understand that's something that not everyone is very fond of. So that circling, coming back to me just asking for perspective, I think that's also very important because, some people, nowadays we just kind of say things to people. We don't like, sometimes just hello is just like a hello, or how's it going? Yeah. And
fine.
It's like,
living a dream. Well, good. Yeah.
I'm like, hey, yeah, that's how it is. But I think just normalizing and humanizing those things of asking and just simple human acknowledgement and courtesy is also very important because, me personally, I don't really see that nowadays, and it's unfortunate.
It is.
Just walking around, but that's why I'm trying to do that, to remind people that it's still a thing, human courtesy, asking and just doing those things is important. But at the same time, like I said, going back to what I said earlier about someone just not wanting to get help, I can't do that. I'm going to say what I can. Hey, these are the resources. Here's what I can to do to help. You always can reach out to me. Here's my hand. I'll keep reaching out for you whenever I can. But at the same time, I can't tell you to get help if you don't want to get help. I can't force you. I can't physically force you. I can't help you. I could try. But if you're not going to listen to me, then I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do what I can. And that's it.
But you want to help.
I do want to, absolutely.
And that's what I really hope the people that are out there, man, and you said that so well, like people want to help you. So, help us help you, right? And I may be the person that needs that as well. But here's the hard thing, and you know it from being through it, and I've been through it too, man. The hard truth is when you're in those really dark places and you're in that muck and you are isolated and you feel so alone, like you're open to impulsive decisions, right? And what too often we do is we don't do what you and many others do, is to have healthy outlets and ways to channel their energies and to know that, okay, if I just sit here and ferment, stagnation is going to lead to degradation. Shout out Haas. He said it, not me, but I stole it. Stagnation leads to degradation. But it boils down to, I got to move. I got to, like you said, you have gratitude. I got to try to connect to somebody, but it's easier said than done. And I know that, but too often with fellow service members and a lot of people in our day today is, and I'll tell y'all right now, man, I've said it on here, there's a tragic trifecta when it comes to death by suicide and people making permanent decisions. And I'd say it probably is a lot to do with homicide as well, but I don't follow homicide as close as I do death by suicide. Let me just tell y'all, man, I learned this from a mentor of mine. I love her so much, Doc S'more. She said, like, the tragic trifecta is that we could prevent over 50% of death by suicide. It's this: you're in that messed up place, right? They get dumped, they get drunk, and they have access. They have access to something that is lethal, right? And I know in my case, it was belt and in my things right there. And had I had a gun at that moment, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have probably used it. And I'm just thankful that I didn't, right? And some other people have other forms of attempting to take their life, right? But here's the thing, most service members die by firearm, and not too many people survive a personal, gunshot wound to themselves, especially when you're going neck up and things of that nature. And And I stress, and I'm saying these things, and I'm trying, because somebody's listening and they may be on that verge of making that permanent decision, or they're wallowing in it, or they're fermenting. And don't feel bad. Like, don't feel like there's something wrong with you, because it's sometimes it's normal, and it's a sign of intelligence. You know, really stupid people don't get depressed, y'all. So if anything, just they're just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, whoa, they got ice cream. It's Wednesday. You know what I mean? Woo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, but it could be a double-edged sword, because you can do what you said early on. You can sit in your room or your space, whatever it is. It could be your car, whatever. And you can overthink, and you can dwell, and you could ruminate, and you can downward spiral. And then bad choices start feeling like good choices. But I promise you, my friend, this time, this situation will pass, and you never know who or what is coming down the road of life, man. I think about you and your community outreach, right? And I think about you, and man, you sang before the first lady came and visited our base. Like, you sang your music, right? You sang your music, right? And you reached it was a high school stadium full of people out there. They were there for the first lady, not me and you, but you were there, right?
I was there.
you were able to share art with them right there on the scene right there. And then to show them by example that, yes, like you just shared, I had these thoughts. I did an attempt, but I've also grown from it, and I've become stronger through it, and now I use it. But think about all the people you touched that day. Think about the people that you reach in the community when you're doing your coaching, which I know you're probably going to do in a few hours, or when you're interacting with people and things, or you're holding those mentoring sessions where people are sharpening each other. Like, none of that would have happened had you made successful your attempts. And same with me, right? So you just don't know the good that can be coming down the road, but you can't see it when you're in the muck of it. I would just beg you, if you're in that place, man, reach out for help. There's 988. You can hit that, 988. It's in the National Registry. But there are people that really do want to help you. But you got to help us help you. We can't read minds. It sucks. I wish we could. Actually, I don't. I don't really want to. I really don't want to know what's going on. You know, I'm gonna take that one back. I don't want to know what's going on in some people's mind. You know what I mean? I might feel bad about myself. They'd be like, "Damn, he ugly." I'm like, "Shut up. He got best up teeth."
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know it's
Absolutely.
a little plug, and I know I just hogged the mic, but it feels like it's going to last forever. It really does. And one of the best advice I've gotten recently, I've heard my man Mark said it. My man Jose said it on the show. Brad Bonar from 1 Degree of Separation. Look them up if you don't know about them. They use comedy to express the struggles of depression and trying to prevent suicide. But they all said one word: wait. Just wait. Wait. It doesn't feel like it while you're in it, but it will pass. I don't know. I know it's a word vomit, man, but you know what I'm saying? Wait.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's great that it's just waiting. And going back to what you said earlier about that little performance.
Hey, did First Lady.
It's fun. It's funny because some people actually recognized me from that when I was just walking out to go to the movie, and some of the cashiers were like, "Hey, aren't you the guy that did that performance?" I'm like, "Huh?
Yeah,
You
man.
recognize me?"
You killed it, bro.
And it's I'm not saying that just to like plug myself, but also at the same time, like, it's also good to know that someone actually was like acknowledged you.
Yeah.
And to me, that also kind of ties into like the not being isolated part, because now you have someone, even if it was just like temporary,
That's
like
right.
that feeling of being heard or being seen.
Some
definitely-
people just need to be seen, bro. Like you were talking
Yeah,
about earlier about
exactly.
having empathy. And I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I'm willing to try to understand and to see you and validate you, man. We need that.
100%. Yeah. And just on it, just doing your, sometimes like you reach out and you be seen just by going out and doing random things like this. I'll bring up this one example. This one time I was going to do a command photo for my unit for the build that I was holding for the Single Marine program. Shout out to the Single Marine program, by the way.
Shout out Single Marine program. Shout out. Big, good program out there.
Indeed, yeah. And I was taking a photo, and it was in my service uniform, my service alphas. And I was going to do a picture, and I was just going to have it be there for just the billet and having that title. And I was just going to leave it at that. And then I walk out, and then I have someone who's just working at building 1, and they just asked me, "Hey, for the first question they asked me was like, what's your ethnicity?" And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of a weird question.
Okay, that was kind of weird. Sorry. All right.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm Filipino, believe it or not. Yeah. I don't look, but yeah. But they asked me, and then like, "Hey, how would you like to take a photo for us for something?" And I'm like, sure. What is it for? And then they go, "Oh, we're updating our proper civilian attire poster for our base." And I'm like, okay, sure. can I wear a suit? And they're like, yeah, sure. You can wear a suit. Take a picture, and now my face is everywhere on this base over here. And I'm sitting here doing like this little number.
Set the example, bro.
I only bring that up because it also goes back to being heard and being seen and being recognized, because now literally everywhere I go to the chow halls, I just go out to like the little stores I hear out on this base, and people are like, hey, your face looks familiar. Were you on this thing? And I'm like, yep, that's me.
Yeah, he didn't get canceled on X or on Instagram yet, but he's Japan famous.
just on base. But yeah, it's interesting. But people just now know who I am, and for me, like, to be heard, to be seen, just by doing something random, you never know.
What
like you could just be going about your day, and like this like crazy occurrence that you didn't even expect to happens. And sometimes you doing those external factors, those external community relations, those external healthy outlets can lead and open doors to other possibilities that you never even thought were possible. Because I was never expecting to be put on the proper civilian type process. I was just trying to look good for my unit. That's it. Yeah. And then all those other things came to be. So I think it also goes to show, I bring that up for what's in it for you, right? What's that saying? What's in it for you? So like, I bring that up just because when you just go about your day and you go do those external factors. My English is it's 7 a.m. over here, so
that's good, bro.
It is how it is. But for when you do those external healthy outlets and you do those things that you don't normally do, you go about your day and just maintaining that balance in your life.
Yeah,
you never know where you just may be offered new doors and opening doors to different possibilities that you never know may happen. Sometimes maybe you could be going out, you could be trying to learn Japanese, and maybe you open the door to being, hey, there are these there's like this interview that these Japanese folks are doing in Tokyo that came from Tokyo that want to interview some foreigners. Would you want to do it? And you're like, oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, man.
Sure. Because that also happened to me too. But things like that happen. You could just be doing those open mic nights. Shout out to the open mic nights.
Open mic nights.
And you could be hit with like a plug. Hey, you want to be in like a band, or do you want to like get together a band?
Yes.
You're like, oh, you play guitar or you play piano too, or like, oh. And that, honestly, that was the reason why we did those open mic nights.
That's
to connect those people, to have that healthy outlet too, but to also connect with other people that have similar hobbies. That's another big thing. When you pursue the hobbies, the things you love, you are going to find other people who share that hobby 100%. Somewhere down the road, if not now, it's going to be somewhere later down the road.
Even if you think you're weird, somebody else is into coins and anime and guitar and kalimba and whatever else, just like you. But here's the thing, again, people need people, and I'm sure people have recognized you and it struck up conversations, for whether it's the poster or the other thing, but you were open to trying new things, and but that led to something else. That led to either a relationship or that can lead to they taught you something, you know what I mean? But it was just, put yourself out there and just, take a risk, right? Nobody's asking anybody to go, I'm going to go jump off the bridge and see how that, nobody saying stupid stuff. Nobody says, don't misinterpret me. But what I'm saying is be willing to take a risk, be willing to get uncomfortable, be willing to just try something, because you don't know how much that may help you, but it also, like I said, man, it can help somebody else. So that is so imperative to find your people, and that's hard to find your tribe, and they may not look like you, they may not even sound like you or have the same experiences of you, but you know it,
or speak the same language.
That's right. But you know it when you are around your people, like your people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And you talk 100%. About suits. This man, y'all don't know this man. I gotta tell him. Look, hey, we used to do open mic night right in Japan, and it was post COVID, and we needed. I mean, I wanted to do comedy and I wanted to do poetry, and I love, having these lights on that you see in the video. Like I love the vibe of that, and I love art, and I really do believe what Bruce Lee said: to live is to express, and to express is to create. And I know I can't be the only one. So in a post-COVID world, when people were starting to come, able to be around each other again, we were all hungry for it, man. And we just started an open mic night. Like, we got with the base chaplain, was like, can we get a room? And we did. And we bought some DJ equipment, and we all learned how to operate it, right? And we emceed events, but this man would show up like in a tux or a suit on different nights and would perform for us, man. And you would do songs, you would read poetry. Like, We did spoken word. We all played off of each other. We did freestyle battles. Like we even did like improv, stupid stuff. You know, some of us, like I was trying to do stand-up comedy. It sucked, you know, but here's the thing though. We were together, bro. Like we were together and it was community, and it wasn't like we didn't let perfect be the enemy of good enough. Like we tried it. And then just like our beautiful Constitution, we had to amend it and we had to adjust some things, but people were able to be themselves in a healthy way, right? We were able to use our First Amendment, speak freely, but engage in the arts or watch others engage in the arts. But I think a lot of good came from that time we had, and the connectedness. And honestly, if we'd never done open mic, I would have never even known you. So there's that. You know, you never know what it may lead to. And we were all motivated by just like this podcast. And when we all kept doing the open mic, and I know you continue to do it after I had departed there, was Maya Angelou said it. Dr. Maya Angelou, she said, if you don't like something, you change it. And if you can't change it, then change your attitude. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. And, you know, we hear Theo Vaughn say it. You hear a lot of these YouTube videos and stuff like that say it recently. But, you know, nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be willing to try new things or to be open-minded to new things, because if nothing changes, y'all, you're hearing Justin talk about this, nothing changes. It's simple. It sounds stupid, but it's so freaking true, dog. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I done beat it to a horse. I done beat that dead horse. That horse is dead. It ain't drinking no water. I done beat it. I done killed it.
Yeah, hey, like I think it's great. It's as simple as the truth. Like sometimes the simple, all it takes is just that simplicity, and that's just how it is sometimes, and that's totally fine. And I also want to bring up that I think it's also important that, like, while these things that we're talking about may also not be for something for you,
they're not your jam.
People, maybe it's gym. Yeah, it's not your jam. Maybe it's gym. Maybe it's I can't think of anything else, but I'm sure there's something out there that someone else is doing and has those hobbies, like maybe knitting or something, or maybe arts or drawing. I can't draw for shit, so you know, maybe for other people.
Real good, dog. Yeah.
Hey, man, I could draw a nice little stick figure, and that's great. That's it. That's
all you need, man. That's you. That's you.
I got my point across. Yeah.
But people can learn new things, you know. And I talked to a great dude yesterday, man. He's a film producer. He's a veteran too, and he's in the Navy. But he has a TED Talk, y'all. TEDx Talk. His name is Karan Andrews. Karan Andrews. That's Kerron Andrews is his last name. But he said this to me, man, and it just rattled my whole brain. And we were talking about how he loves to learn, just learn, like, cause you're growing. And like, I've noticed in my own life, I'll get depressed if I stagnate and I'm not trying new things, or I'm not being challenged, or I'm not learning something, right? And he said this, man, this sounds so simplistic, but it's so real. He said, no change can happen unless you have the input of new information. No change can happen unless you have the input of new information. So we don't know. Be open-minded, man. We are a constant work in progress, all of us, and we're all still trying to fit foe. So I just wanted to drop that little gem from Karan Andrews, man. Good dude.
No, 100%. I think it's also, like, for me, yeah, definitely, if you want to try something and you keep failing at it, you know, it's also very imperative and important to take a step back and realize why you're failing. You know, I think it's important to understand, like, hey, I'm trying to do this, but this keeps happening. Okay, like, hey, let's approach it from a different approach.
That's right.
Let's try it this way, right? And, you know, just like I said, keeping that motivation, keeping that and striving to do what you think, whether it's hobbies, whether it's something you're doing, or maybe if it's something you're learning, right? Because everyone's a different learner. So when it comes to those things that we're talking about, right, and going about how to learn things, it's important to just take a step back and just, like, breathe for one.
That's right.
And to learn from what you're doing, because when you make mistakes over and over again, you're not really learning. You're just doing the same thing.
If you keep on making the exact same mistake. Yeah. That's facts.
You're just, I don't think you're learning that much. You're just doing the same. You're getting the same outcome.
What's the definition of insanity, right? You're doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. But it ties back into Dr. Maya Angelou's quote of, nice. I'm messing up. I'm making mistakes. Well, if I don't like something, I change it. I change my approach. I attack in a different direction. I be water, my friend. Or I just shut up and change my attitude. But if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude, right? So sometimes you do have to do exactly, you do. I said do. Sometimes you have to do. Sometimes you have to do exactly what you're saying, where you have to stop, pause, take a knee, and reassess, and then go, okay, now we attack again. That's why a boxing match has, after 3 minutes, they have their time to go to their corner, because you need that. Like you can't be constant. Like you need a little rest. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention all of the training and pain they had to endure mentally and physically, and probably socially and spiritually too, to get to that point to where they're fighting an actual fight. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to build up all that resilience to be able to endure for that fight. And that's what we're doing every day, family. That's what we're doing every day.
Mm-hmm. That 100%. Yeah, we're training, whether we're trying, we're figuring the fuck out all day, every day, and we're just doing what we can to achieve the goals that we are aspiring to. Because while, as I said before, while there's things that these things may not appeal to other people, like you said, boxing. That's a big. I don't know why I couldn't think of boxing, but MMA, martial arts, right? I have some buddies back home, back in the States, that love martial arts and does jiu-jitsu, or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, or kickboxing, or MMA, or karate, whatever the case may be. There's a bunch of different ones. There's too many. I can't keep track of all of them.
That's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. That's why they're like, we just call it arts. Martial arts.
Just arts. Yeah. Martial arts. Yeah. Pretty. Yeah. And some people specialize in specific ones.
That's right.
And for them, that's what they want to strive to. That's what they're training. That's what their whole life is.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I ain't trying to say anything about McMahon, but hey, like it is what it is, right? But
yeah, but it's something to strive for. It's something
to strive for. Yeah,
right.
It's definitely something to strive for. And for other people, that's their specialty, and that's their goal. That's what they want to aspire to.
That's right.
That's what they've trained. That's all the pain, sweat, and tears that they've given for that thing. And for them, and I think that's great. That's for them. That's what their healthy outlet is.
That's
it's what they get how they express themselves, how they motivate themselves. And for them, that also opens door to different possibilities. So, hey, have you think about going pro? Or have you thought about, and then you get those connections with other people. Because of course,
there it is.
They're instructors. Yeah, that connection, you build that village. I remember you told me this. You build that village, you build that connection with other people, and then you can build the foundation that you can keep them out, foundation of your village. Yeah. So that way you can reach out to this person. Like, for martial arts, you got the instructors are like, especially with jiu-jitsu, usually it's someone with years upon years of experience. That's because Brazilian jiu-jitsu is no joke.
No joke.
It takes a lot.
And you got to be creative. Like, so anybody's like, I can't draw. But if you could do jiu-jitsu, you're an artist, a martial artist, but it's still art in itself, because you're creating different movements and you're responding to the environment, but you're doing it usually with another person, with another group of people, and you have similar interests, and that bonding is there. And that's social fitness, bro. When we're talking about Marine Corps total fitness, that's social fitness right there. And then you think about spiritual, like it's something that is bigger than you, right? Your community, it can be spiritual. It's not just church. It's not just religion. To me, defending the Constitution is spiritual. To me, being a father is spiritual. To me, being a friend to others and being a good brother is spiritual, because it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Find it. You got to find it and hone it and sharpen it and continue to water it, because if you don't water the grass, it ain't going to grow and it ain't going to stay green or whatever color you wanted it to be. It's going to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100%. You got to keeping that motivation up. And like I said, like for me, like that's not something that I personally have like a lot of experience with. Like, I have, I dabble in a bit, I try to keep that total Marine Corps mindset, like whole Marine concept.
The whole Marine concept. But you talk about martial arts. Yeah. It's just not your particular jam where you're like all in on it, but you obviously stay skilled in it because you're a warrior.
Yeah, of course. And that's how it is. And I think that's important, because some people, when they have that whole Marine concept, they tend to find one that they specialize in, whether it's physical, social, spiritual,
right,
and all those things, right?
Yeah.
And some people just dabble a bit and more, and that's fine. I think as long as you maintain that that balance, kind of ties into that.
It is. The B word.
The B word. The B word. Not the other B word. This B word.
Yeah, yeah, this one right here.
100%. Yeah, just for clarification. But hey,
balance.
And I think that's great. And for and it's exciting. It's great when you are good at something. Like it's perfectly normal to like be excited that you're doing these things and that you're good at something. It's perfect. And you got all those other things that maybe you're not as good at, and that's fine. You still try, you still motivate yourself, and you get better. But with other people, they dabble in one thing more specifically, and they're really good at it. And like, oh, I can get down with this,
Right.
And then like, and they train, they strive, and that keeps you productive, and that keeps you busy, distracted from all the other things that's happening. And of course, maintaining the work-life balance is always a struggle. I'm still trying to find that gray line too.
Oh, it's hard, man. It's hard.
It's hard. It's like, oh yeah, especially when you're going off the dome, as you call it in hip hop terminology.
Yeah.
Off the dome.
Spitting
right?
off the dome, yo. Yeah.
Spitting off the dome, right? And when you're, to me, when you're going when you're going through it through life, you're just planning things as you go. You don't know what the future holds.
Nah, man, it's a life of improv.
Yeah, a life of improv. Yeah, that's a great way to capture it. You can plan for it and you can prepare for it, but you just when the time comes, you never know what's going to happen. But you can adapt to it, and you can what is it? Improvise, adapt, overcome.
That's it, baby.
Right? Oh my gosh, this is the most moto I've been on a weekend.
No, but it's
no, I'm kidding.
No, it's good though, because it's similar to, I quote him all the time, but Epictetus. Look that gentleman up in history, y'all. I mean, he was a slave, and now he's obviously so influential. I'm quoting him thousands of years later, but he said, "What ought one to say as each hardship comes? I was practicing for this. I was training for this," right? Because it's not a matter of if, but when will the hard times come? So when we are in a more comfortable state or a non-stressful state, it's like we have to synthetically induce stress on ourselves, because like I think there's a need for humans to have stress and chaos. But if you in a healthy way can put stress on yourself, whether it is through exercise or through an art of expression or through community service, or maybe all of the above, or learning a new language or going to college or reading a book, but you're learning, you're growing, you're being uncomfortable, there's friction there. I think there's a human need for friction. I think stress gets a bad rap, and I've said it on here many a times. We look at astronauts that go out into space and they orbit for a long time. When they come back, they literally need help walking off of the capsule, right? Because their muscles have atrophied. Because as we walk every day, you can't feel it because our bodies are strong. There's minor fractures going off in your bones and your muscles and those hairs, but we grow and we become stronger. But they had nothing. They had no stress on their joints or anything like that. No stress on their bones, no stress on their muscles. So they atrophy and they become weak. I think we're the same way as humans in the principle of the metaphor, which I'm trying to say, whether it's because, people that like to just talk shit, and like people that like to gossip, and people that just like to, like, you're like, damn, dog, why you always got some drama going on? I think that's that person's like thing, because we need a certain amount of friction and stress. And it's like, well, if we don't have it, it's like we subconsciously, or maybe on purpose for some people, create it. And that's our new stress. But like, we need some level of it, right? Because life just can't be all the time. Like, no, it feels good when you have worked hard and you get a moment. But to just be all the time, not, you're a vegetable, bro. Like, that's not what we're made for. We're made to endure. We're, like Jordan Peterson says, we're made to go uphill.
Yeah, and I also want to relate it to, like, on top of those things, like with stress, right? It's always good to feel satisfied after a long, hard work day, right?
Yes.
And just have that moment, as you said. I like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important. It also kind of gives value to when you tie it to emotions.
Yes.
For me, like when life is all happy, if anyone ever seen the Truman Show, where everything is literally perfect.
Yeah.
And we view it like it's on paper or at a glance, it's perfect. If you know the film,
yeah, and you know
the plot, and you look at the concept and the idea, everything's perfect. Everything's like happy. Everyone's happy. And we, as the viewers, we view it as like, that's a little weird. And I think it's important because, like, when you relate it to happiness and sadness, the emotions, right? I think a little bit of like sadness is also necessary to have, like, that's why we value happiness and like positive vibes.
That's right.
So much, is because there's just so much negativity and sadness in our lives, unfortunately, or at least in my experience. Maybe that's the same for other people, but to me, like, there's just so much negativity in the world, and there's a lot of there's just days that, like, the air is just thick and the tension is thick, and there's just a lot of negative vibes and sadness going around, right? But also, I think that ties into why we value happiness so much. And it's important to realize that value, because then you realize about all these other things about, like, oh man, I really could use some ice cream now, or I could really go for a bite to eat somewhere at my favorite place after, like, going through a fucking shit day, right?
Right, yeah.
And to have that, and I think that adds more value. So that kind of ties into like we're made to go uphill, like go in that struggle,
Yeah.
going through that hard earned fought like goal at the end, reaching the top of the hill, right? You value that a lot more because you struggled so hard to get it, you know?
It's true. It's just like all the things that like nobody's ever like anything anybody's ever like really accomplished, or like maybe they're not pride in the ego sense, but like you know, you feel accomplished, you feel proud of what you did. Hey, I tried hard there. None of it's ever really anything easy. And that's the whole like Taoism and the duality. And I learned that from Bobby Oliver. Like there's the yin and the yang of life, like with even like performing, right? People are like, you like doing stand-up. I love how I feel doing it. And then after, but getting into it, man, there's not a time that I'm not nervous and like, oh, but you can't have the good feeling without that nervousness on the front end. So it's like exercise. Like you know, everybody likes the runner's high or the feeling of goodness, but the hardest part is putting on your shoes when you're cold. Like when you're in a cold state, like you're not warmed up. You're like, oh, I don't want to do this shit. Like nobody wants to do it, right? And I think Joe Rogan said it one time. He's like, if I only worked out when I felt like it, I'd be a fat fuck. And I would be too. Because it's true. Yeah. It's the sad truth, because there's got to be those times when you got to have the consistency and the discipline to push through it. And then it's just like a muscle, like anything else. You continue to grow it. And this is all the concept of what David Goggins talks about. So anybody listening, if you want to dig more into this stuff, you know, there's David Goggins, you know, I just talked about Jordan Peterson, but Bobby Oliver, The Tao of Comedy. It's a book about comedy and stand-up, but it's so much more than that, because it's talking about what you're saying, that duality. Like I think even like 50 Cent said it, like joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. The sun wouldn't shine so much if it wasn't for rain. It's 50, you know, something like that, man, in one of the songs. But you know, it's facts, man. There's that balance. Of course, we obviously don't want tragedy. We don't want crazy trauma. We don't want pain and malice. Nobody's asking for that. Nobody's asking you to be a masochist and like, oh, I want to feel good, so I cut my. Nobody's saying, look, there's some judgment here, y'all. Okay, so don't hear it the wrong way. But to put a little bit of controlled stress on your body, stress plus recovery equals growth. Stress plus stress plus stress plus stress equals burnt out, overwhelmed, and come on now. You know what I'm saying? Not a good thing. So don't hear us wrong here. We're not saying to go be crazy about this. I'm already crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick right here, I want to also, for anyone who's listening, I want to take a moment to hype this man up right here, the one I'm talking to, because this man has taught me so much. And while he says he learns a lot from me, I also learn a lot from him. He's a very knowledgeable and just motivational person that inspires me and a lot of other people that he doesn't know about, even if he doesn't know about them. But for me, for sure, he is like a big reason of what I strive to be and a big person of what I want to be. And he, like I said, he's a very knowledgeable person. He's been through a lot, and he's always has that mindful concept and knows just how to approach people. Because in the Marine Corps, I think like when it comes to leadership, this is the man that's like a big prime example of like good leadership and being able to maintain that with and connecting to other service members, if not just Marines, right? But other service members, you know, in this, what was it, in the service as we called it, or as you guys called it before?
That's right.
The people in the service.
Say the service, right? Now we say military.
People in the service.
Service.
Mm-hmm. In the service, yeah. And this man has been in that service, and I think that's important, especially coming from the enlisted side to now what he is right now as an officer. I think being able to have that experience and connecting with those service members is important and imperative. And like I said, this man is a big prime example of great leadership and is someone that I always aspire to be. And I'm actually going down the road that he's going down right now too, of he knows what I'm talking about, but like the commissioning process for those who don't know, we won't get much into it, but like I said, I think, and that's the person I also want to strive to be. He's like, that's the type of leader that I want to be to the other service members. And I hope to share that with other service members or other people in general, if not just service members. But eventually when I get out, because we all got to make that decision at some point to get out, unless you're a no-lifer in the Marine Corps or in the military at all, like at some point you're going to want to get out, right? And I hope to be able to share that knowledge and learn that knowledge from this man right here, and to connect with that to other people and the newer generation that maybe also be potentially struggling with the same issues. I hope not, but I want to be there for those people if if the time ever comes where someone is having those feelings when I'm sitting at 30, 40 years old, who knows, right? At some point in my life. But to be able to share that with other people, I think is also important. I think all people who are striving to be good leaders should look to this man, because he's like a good prime example. Like I said, as I keep saying, I'm being a dead horse, but that's just, I want to emphasize that.
Who is this guy you talking about, bro?
Man, of course.
I'll just play. No, sincerely, man. No, man. Who is this dude, man?
Talking about?
Dead serious, man. I appreciate you, and you validate also from me, bro. You know, a lot of people will write off your whole generation. A lot of people wrote off my generation when we were coming up. You know, they said we were going to be the worst generation ever. You know, we were the PlayStation generation. We were the Digiboots. We were the
PlayStation generation.
Look, man, every single generation has said that about the younger generation. And all of us will grow old enough to be like, yo, your music sucks and your clothes are weird. It's just the way it is. It's just like a pastime of human beings. You know what I'm saying? But you, and there are others as well, that you've impacted, that I know from your generation, that are going to take care of us and defend us and take us to the next chapter of, you know, whether it's our nation, our world, whatever it is. Like, people are going to step up. That's why they call them the few and the proud, right? Because it's not going to be everybody of your generation. It's going to be the few and the proud that do it, and that's why you are what you are, and the other service members are doing what they're doing. But it's being unselfish, right? And bro, please don't pump me up too much, man. I fall short every day. I mean, a lot of this show and a lot of the things I do is kind of reverse psychology, because it's like external accountability. Like, I have to live up to it, especially now, right? But all of us live long enough to be a hypocrite, and I'm definitely a hypocrite to a lot of these things. And these things are easy to talk about. All of these things we've said today, ladies and gentlemen, all of it. But I thank you. I thank you so much, man, for some people aren't open to mentorship. Some people aren't open to wanting to be uncomfortable, to change things, to make things better, to influence, to contribute, because that's uncomfortable and people are afraid of discomfort, right? But you're not. And that's why you are going to take us to the next chapter, and warriors just like you of all walks of life, of, you know, some Marines, some Navy, some just teachers right now trying to get their degree to go be a public school teacher or whatever the case may be, but to serve something bigger than yourself. That is what it's all about, in my opinion. And in, you know, trying to help someone else reach their full potential, not make you like me, not make you like her, not make you like him, but to be your best self. That's your best self. And if we could do that, we'll damn sure make more lethal war fighters, and we'll make stronger, you know, everything that is the good thing for the mission. That will just complement those things, because we have humans that are living their best selves. And that's that holistic approach of Marine Corps Total Fitness in the general. But it comes down to, again, man, we said it in the beginning, steel sharpens steel, man. Like it or not, we're all we got. We got to be willing to take the hits. Like Stallone talked about, you got to be willing to take the hits. You got to be willing to give the hits and then take them and then continue to move forward, right? But please, to anybody out there, man, both of us, suicide, right? That's a thing that's that's been a part of our story of life. And we're both sitting here expressing what we're expressing. And I just hope that it's a blessing and a help to somebody else, because we're proof that, you know, this worst day that you're having doesn't have to be your last day. And I promise you, it can get better. You just can't see it right now. But I do appreciate you, man. You're already doing great things, bro. And you're already rich in the sense of this. Like Jim Carrey said, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. You're doing that, bro. And we can't take any of this stuff with us. You know, you heard me say it on many times. I said it in that book I wrote too, but Denzel said it, man, at the commencement speech at University of Pennsylvania, bro. He said it. Like, you've never seen a U-Haul following a hearse. It just doesn't happen. You can't take none of this shit with you. He said it. The Egyptians tried it in ancient history, but all they got was robbed. So it's all about, what are you doing for others? How are you helping others be their best selves? And man, I just appreciate you. You do. And I do learn a lot from you. And you give me hope for our next generation, because there will be the few and the proud that will step up, that will always answer the call. And I'm not a doom and gloom person. This is probably the safest and best time to be a human in history. It just feels like it's not, because we see so much bad stuff. And, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. So bad news gets a lot of attention. But I do believe there's a lot of good people in the world, and we just got to outnumber the assholes. That's all it is. It's a game of outnumbering, you know. So, but, you know, like The Rock said, hey, it starts with being nice, man, being kind. Be kind. That doesn't mean coddle or baby or be weird, right? But like, be firm, be fair, but be there. And like you were talking about earlier, man, care. Be firm, be fair. Give a fuck. Have a give a fuck. Have a give a foxtrot about each other. And we know.
Give a foxtrot.
I'm telling you, man, I've said this before too, that like, you know, in our modern times, one thing that's, if there's anything good about all our social media and all of our exposure to entertainment and all this video and all this kind of stuff, you can see real quick when somebody's being fake and they're not being genuine. You can see it real quick. Whereas I think in other times they were just like, oh my God, I hear his voice on recording. It must be real. You know what I'm saying? Like they just fell for shit and somebody's just reading off a teleprompter. But now you can kind of feel it when somebody's just reading off a policy letter or they're just saying some shit and they're not meaning it. So talk is cheap. What effect are you having out there? You ain't got to coddle nobody or baby nobody or be all weird. Just be firm, be fair, be there, but please, damn it, care.
Yeah, 100%. And like what I want to say this thing is that like for me, when it comes to all of that, being able to have to way I look at my life as like a book. There's all of it's maybe it's not finished, or I mean it is not finished because I'm still here, right? But when I look at my life as like a chapter. Each part of my life is like a chapter in the book. There's always like some chapters that you may not want to read out loud to other people.
Facts.
But it still makes up the whole story of what your book will end up being, right? It's a part of you, and even though it's a chapter that you don't like or you don't want to share with other people, it's still a part of you. And to be able to embrace that experience also ties into having that growth mindset. It'll make you be able to push further and be a better person, and to acknowledge those bad things and to just keep moving forward, as you said. We keep saying I can't do the better impression, but hey, I get the concept, right?
Yeah.
And to me, to be able to have that and to accept that, acknowledge that, right? To experience those things, you become a better person just from being able to acknowledge that book. And even though when sometimes you want to take a step back and you want to read that book, you want to say, oh yeah, I remember this. You know, you may not remember everything, but you know, there's definitely like things you can learn from your past, and it'll embrace you to be stronger. And even though like some things that in your past you maybe regret or have regretted in the past, or you think you just didn't want to ever have to visit that ever again, to me it's not worth it to hold on to that bad thing and to let that define who you are right now and how it affects your actions right now.
Yes.
Right. So it happened. That's what I've always been saying. I do my best. It happened. Whatever experience I've been through, it happened. Hey, it happened. And even though I may say at the time I may have regretted it at some point, but it happened, and I'm gonna keep moving forward. That's my life. That was my life, and it also is the reason why I have all these experiences and how I have the like the knowledge and the experience and the wisdom that I have right now is because of those things.
That's right.
I had to learn the hard way, and it definitely had to hurt me, and unfortunately had to hurt other people. And of course, I'm ever grateful for those people, for just some I've stayed connected with, some I haven't, but I'm always forever eternally grateful for the people that I have stayed connected with in the past, because being able to have that chapter in my life is the reason why I know so much now. And that had so much more weight to what I have and what I want to give to other people, because now I know better and I know how not to act. And of course, as you said, I'm not perfect. Of course, like you said, I'm a hypocrite too sometimes. Hey, like some days I'm like, hey, I really don't want to go to the gym right now.
Yeah,
or
there's some days, man.
Yeah, there's some of those days, and yeah, that makes me a hypocrite too. But that's the human factor for it. You know, it's all happy sunshine rainbows when you look at like what you want to do. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get better at this, and it's easy to say. It's easier said than done, right? And that's okay. Like it's easier said than done, but at the same time, you could still strive to at least be better. I think the thought and the striving and the motivation to be able to want to be better and to at least acting to be better, taking action upon it, even though if you need to get uncomfortable sometimes, being able to embrace that uncomfortableness. What is it? Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes,
get comfortable being uncomfortable. Oh, geez, yeah.
Yes.
And while it sucks, you know, if you have that mindset of, well, what happens if I don't give up? Or what happens if I just keep going? Or what happens when I get to that flag point, the checkered flag, right?
Yeah.
Right. And to have that, to be focused, to have that goal is very imperative. And it's important to just being able to maintain that consistency. And consistency is is very key. That's a big thing. Like we're not your learning curve isn't always going to be always this. It's not. It's gonna.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh
going to
my
be
God.
this. It's gonna. It's going to be. It's going to be all.
Yeah.
It's going to fucking fluctuate all the fucking time,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And for that, it's just maintaining the consistency, right?
Be
Because
consistent.
you have the highest point, you have the lowest point. The goal is to just maintain that and keep it in this range. If you're looking at it from a
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but like a visual standpoint,
Yeah.
like if you look at it, if you just draw it, consistency is important. That in running and exercise, when I did cross country in high school, yeah, I ran a lot, and our coach always said, key is consistency, either consistent or faster.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to go slower. If you want to get better, at least.
That's
if
right.
You want to
That's
get
right.
a better fun, you want to get a better run time.
Yeah.
Just maintain your physical fitness, your physical standards that you set for yourself that are realistic, and you want to just maintain. That's important. Consistency. That's I always never forget that. Our coaches were also prior military, and I respected them a lot. I didn't know at the time, but I respected them a lot. When I got in and I met them again, I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude. I respect it. Thank you for your service. And they dropped some good knowledge on me too. And it applies to me now. And it goes to show that, yeah, hey, at some point you're going to find those other people that are going to want to be in the situation that you were in once before, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to impart your knowledge and tell them how to be better and what they shouldn't do. Of course, they're going to have their own struggles, but you can at least mitigate their struggles. You don't have to have them struggle just because someone is going to struggle doesn't mean you have to make them struggle more.
Yeah, we
right?
don't want to be self-inflicted. Over here being bullies and stuff now. I ain't saying that now. But I will say bad leaders or bad situations are good for anything. Here's the thing. You may be like, you know what? I might not be perfect. I might not be the best, but I ain't never going to be like you. I ain't never going to allow somebody to feel like you made me feel or them feel or how they did. And they're learning too as well. But I'm saying it's sometimes bad lessons are some of the best ones to learn from, because you could take the good ones for granted. You could take the good leaders for granted. You could take the good climates for granted, but you can also be part of the change that you want to see, man. And you're doing that, bro. You're doing that every single day. And I just tell you, keep doing it. Keep making good choices. MGC times 2. Jana, I love you, Jana, if she's listening to this, but she taught me this. Make good choices, MGC. And if you're feeling down, you're feeling out, look, move, express some gratitude, and try to connect to somebody, whether it's virtually, physically, in person, whatever it is. Move, gratitude, connect. Make good choices. MGC times 2. My brother, I appreciate you sharing and caring and being willing. Look at that sound of freedom. I hear you. I hear it over there. Hey.
You can hear that?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I didn't know they were flying today.
I love it. But hey, keep being you. And not everybody's going to get it and not everybody's going to appreciate it, but you need to keep doing it, man. And all the things that you've been through and all the things that you've shared, bro, it makes you who you are, as you said. And like Kevin Hart said, we're all writing the book. What's going to be in your book? And it's going to be bad parts and it's going to be good parts and it's going to be the ebbs and flows of life. That's what it is. But be a light. And remember, what is to give light must endure burning. So if anything, we got to embrace it sometimes, man. It's the burning, but it gives us the light that we can share with others. And maybe the only reason why we even go through things is so that we can help somebody else through it, man. Maybe that's our whole purpose. I don't know, but it gives me some serenity and peace in life and going through some stuff and not going, oh, woe is me or why is me, right? But it's okay to hurt y'all, but please do not make a permanent decision. This too shall pass, bro. I'm going to ask you what I ask every guest on the show, man. I know you're short. I know you're about to go make a difference in the community because I know you got Saturday community service to get to. But if somebody's out there thinking about taking their own life or hurting someone else, they're thinking about making a permanent decision over their temporary circumstance, what would you tell that person, man?
So what I would tell that person, for one, as I said before, I want to make sure they're open to hearing what I have to say, because for me, sometimes when someone wants to expresses those feelings, they just want to be listened to. Some people just want to be heard and they don't want advice. They just want to be emotional and be vulnerable with somebody because maybe they have their own reasons as to why they don't want to overshare, right?
Right.
Or not overshare, but to like listen to somebody else because then they think it's about them. And there's a process for it. And for me, I think it's always safe to just ask, hey, like I'm here to listen, and I'm here to. You want me to listen, or do you want to give me advice? I won't say it like that, of course, directly, but
yeah,
it'll be somewhere along those lines, and I'll be gentle and I'll approach it with sensitivity. You know, they're in a very vulnerable state right now. And whether that's to have advice or whether that's just to be heard to, whatever they need at that very moment, I want to be for them. So I'll just listen to them. I'll say, hey man, like, I can't imagine what you're going through right now, but I want to try and I want to help you, because for me, I know it's hard and it's difficult, and just how it is. And but I want you to know that you aren't alone. At this moment, you're not by yourself. I'm here. If not me, somebody else, somebody that I cares about you. There's going to be somebody that does care about them, and that's important. And for me, I just want to be that extra somebody if in case they don't have someone accessible at that moment, especially in an overseas different time zone, right? When you want to talk to other people that you may not want to, or you can't because of the time zone difference. But I want to be there for them, and whether that's listening, yapping my ass off,
Yeah.
or just being there for them. And I think that's important, because isolation in that mindset right there is never good. And I want to make sure that no one has to go through that, because it's a very dark place. And just like I said, being there, giving a fuck, give a foxtrot, right?
Yeah.
And that's imperative to getting someone out of that mindset.
That's right.
Because it's it's never worth it to just try and think about the bad decision that you made and trying to make a permanent decision for it.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, and because you're thinking about just all these other things, you think the good choices or the bad choices are good choices. And and it's important, and it's imperative that you make sure that they just aren't alone. And even if they might not want help, there's different ways. What is it? Knowing your Marines or knowing your people.
That's right.
Know what kind of help they want, and just whether you don't know or you may not know, at least I would at least try to attempt to understand what they're going through, because I don't know everything. Like I said, I'm 21 years old, man.
Trying.
I don't know everything.
Trying.
But I want to at least express that I'm trying to be there for them. Yes. And of course, I will also never leave their side until I know I can trust them to be and handle themselves accordingly.
That's right.
Because even though I'm not a mind reader, I can at least use the words that, I have a brain to just listen to what the words that they'll into. That was the best way I could put it. But yeah, I just have my thoughts, and I could just listen to the words they're saying and just the way they're acting, and go off of those things. And even though it's definitely hard to break that shell, like at least at that moment, I want to at least try to make sure that they just, I can't emphasize it enough, they just aren't alone. Because when you're in that deepest moment, like I said, when we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change. And even though it can be interpreted as a good thing, it can also be interpreted as a bad change.
Yes.
And that bad change is going down the route of alcohol and drugs and other external factors to cope with what you're going through. Or, as you said, worst case scenario, suicide. That's also a big change, a change in your life that's not there anymore. And also, it's very important to tell them that there are other people that also do care. As I said before, there are other people that care, whether it's their family, whether it's their friends. For me, I like what helped me the most is living for the people that care about me.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that's my friends, my family, I know that, hey, my friends or my parents, when I was going through that, I now know how they would feel for their child, right?
Yes.
Or I wouldn't know, but I can at least imagine the weight and the loss and the pain.
It goes on forever, man. It's generational.
Go on for that, and they would never forget that. And me knowing that gives me the motivation to, even though I may have those thoughts sometimes, and I did have those thoughts now, or at the time, right? For me to understand that other people will care. Especially because I don't know what that person, I don't know what this person's going through. I don't know what kind of person they hold to the highest standard and what they take personally from those people, right? But being able to remind them that these other people are there and they would they do care, and they would miss them, and it would affect their lives completely, is also very important. Because for me, it definitely changed that. Yeah, if my, well, I mean, they did find out, but if my parents were just like, they found out about those, they just got that phone call, they got that news,
Yes.
it would be devastating. So me knowing that outcome, I would never, me being trying to be an empathetic person, it would be very selfish of me, right?
Right.
To do that regardless of how they feel, because now I'm just giving them all this pain and loss that they just experienced, and I just did what I wanted to do because I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Or I had these other things, but I didn't think for other people. And to me, that makes me a hypocrite, because I always like to think for other people, and I do care about myself,
Right.
and I do value my own self, but I also care for others, because someone else also may be going through similar things, or you never know
Yeah.
when someone may be going through similar things. So that's why it's also important to be kind, and kindness can change someone's life.
It's true.
And in that moment, sometimes people just want to be heard, want to be seen, and being kind can definitely satisfy that need that they may have. They may not say it, but they have their different ways to cope with it, and they're just not used to that feeling
Mhm.
of being vulnerable. And like I said, it's also very important to approach it with being gentle, with sensitivity,
Yeah.
as to how they feel, and to just understand. And I know it's like, oh, why do I have to do this for this person? Well, we're all people too, you know.
That's right.
Like for me, it'd be very selfish of me, because why would I, like, oh, why do I have to help this person? Well, I've been through that too, and I know what that's like, and I don't want that for other people. And while that might not be a mindset that other people have, like, like it or not, we're all we got,
Like
man.
it or
So
not,
why
we're
not
all
we
we
just
got,
take care
man.
of each other?
Take care of
Why
each
not
other.
just take care of each other? Yeah, and we're all just people trying to figure the fuck out, you
That's
know.
it.
And that's just my view on how things are. Of course, for other people, it's different, and
Yeah.
I don't know what other people will say, but for me, that's just how it is. And I think that's what I would do in that very moment. Just make sure they're not alone. Make sure make sure that they know that other people will definitely care and miss them, and also approach it with empathy, gentleness, sensitivity, and important just aspects of just basic and human courtesy that is very scarce now. And just, you know, take them out to go get food or something, you know.
Yeah.
Invite them out,
Yeah.
bring them out, be inclusive, you know.
Yes.
Because
We need that. You need to be feeling like you're, you know, you can read the Sebastian Younger. You got to be connected to a tribe. We need our tribe.
Yeah, and not to say that in like inclusive as to alcohol or like drinking or doing drugs, or, you know,
It doesn't have to be that, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that. There's a healthy way to go about it, of course, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be, that doesn't have to be just the only thing. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, hey, yeah. Like for me personally, hey, yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a good time with some alcohol lightly and being safe, as long as you have a plan and you're being safe with other people and you're with people you trust. That's just my personal view.
Unless you're somebody
but
like
that's
me
not
who's
the
going to
only
take a
thing.
little too far. So, you know, there's those
Yeah.
people too.
Yeah, of course. And
Gotta
that's
know
okay.
yourself.
For other, yeah, you got to know yourself. You got to know your audience. You got to know other people.
That's right, bro.
But that doesn't have to be the point is, that doesn't have to be the only thing.
That's right.
You know, going out to get food, or going out to karaoke, or taking them out for a drive. You know, there are definitely times when you just want to sit. You know, for me, driving is very therapeutic. I get so much therapy just from driving. I don't know why, but like, you take them out to do something. You know, take them out to go get food. Take them out to just, you know, talk, or
Yeah.
take a walk, or go do a simple errand. Like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go do this. Like, hey, you want to come? Or, hey, there's this coming up. And, you know, and to me, having something to look forward to in life is also very, very important.
We do need that. Yes.
To have that focus, like, hey, this event is coming up. Sometimes those events get me through the week.
It's
like,
true.
Hey, this is happening. I'm meeting with this person next weekend, or I'm doing this next weekend with a bunch of friends. Now, the coming week on that Monday, when it's like, oh, it's Monday, fuck this shit. Or,
That's right.
you know, sometimes maybe I'll wake up with that mindset, and right. But having that, oh yeah, but wait, that Saturday or this Sunday, I'll have this.
Yeah.
And at the end of seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, and keeping that optimistic, positive mindset is also very important. And I just hope that other people can also at least try to be that way. That's all. I don't really ever ask people for anything, or like ask a lot of people whenever I do, but just trying, like, to me, that's enough. Like, when you try and do something, to me, that's enough. Even if your outcome isn't always going to be 100% perfect, you're trying, you're learning, and you're doing your best, and that's all we can all ever do.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
That's why we got other people to lean to. That's why we got other people to look forward to. That's why we got other people to lean to. That's why we got other people to just help us, guide us to be better, because there's only so much you can do on your own, right? And as much as we would love to be isolated, believe me, as much as we love to be isolated, there are definitely times that I got other people that I got to lean to, and I'm forever grateful for those people. Right?
Got to, bro.
It's just like I said, maintaining that balance, the B word,
that B word balance, man. But
that B word,
even those fighters, though, they got to go to their corner. And they got that cut man, they got that manager, they got a trainer, they got their coach telling them things. You need that. But you're in that fight by yourself. And that's just kind of like life sometimes. But you got your corner. So be careful who you call friend, and be smart about how you pick your corner. But I love what you said right there. And a lot of what you said was connect. And we need that social connection. That's part of that social fitness, and it feeds everything. But here, I want to, two things came to mind. Is number one, rest in peace, Robin Williams. He said, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind. Always. Be kind. Yeah, always, right? And I want to also say this too, because the great General Neller, I love him. He came up with this message and it changed my whole life. It's right here. It's a white letter called Mental Wellness. But I want to read one line. He said, let me be clear and upfront. There's zero shame in admitting one's struggle with life, trauma, shame, guilt, or uncertainty about the future and asking for help. It is not okay, however, to ignore your mental health to the point where you are not able to make sound decisions, or you end up taking an irreversible action that leaves behind teammates, family, and those who care about and depend on you. It may sound harsh, but it is true. There is always a solution. Marines find solution. Marines do not give up, not on ourselves, not on our teammates, and not on the mission. Don't let yourself or your fellow Marines get to the point where giving up or making an irreversible decision seems like the only option. Your Marines need you. Your family needs you. You matter. And that's not just for Marines. That right there is for all of us in this human species. I don't care if you're from another country listening to me right now, not understanding my language, having to listen to me on an interpreter. That applies to all of us in this human connection that we are. His audience at that point was Marines, but that message applies to all. Like, sincerely, your people need you, and you can't see it right now, but just like Justin expressed, just like I expressed, and you can read about people that jump off the Golden Gate Bridge and live, as soon as they let go of that bridge, they realized everything in their life was fixable, except for they just let go of that bridge. But before they let go, they felt like nothing was fixable in their life. You know what I'm saying? So there is a certain on the other side of it where you go, what did I just do? Please be careful and make good choices and take care of each other. Do not make an irreversible decision, because yes, my friend, you're seeking your pain to end, but guess what? Your pain ends, but everyone else's begins, and that shit will go on for generations. So if nothing else, like you said, don't do it to somebody else, man. Listen to this young man right here, a wise warrior right here, man. You are wise beyond your years, man. Just keep growing, keep staying humble, keep learning, keep growing. You're going to you already are, but you're going to continue to make such a big difference in this world for understanding the things. And when the hard times come, this is one of those moments where, guess what this was? It was a training session. What I want to say as each hardship comes, we were practicing for this. We were training for this. I love you, bro. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. I'm always here to help you. I thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. And I'm telling you right now, face to face in a virtual world, this world is better with you in it. And I'm grateful that what you planned to do did not work out. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for you being in this world. You are a light, my friend. Keep shining. And to all of us out there, just keep on shining, bro. Is there anything you want to leave with the audience, brother?
Well, just look out for each other. Like I said, when you're in that deep, dark mindset, right? Just look out for each other. Just give a fuck, right?
That's right,
and
baby.
Just do the things you love to do, and do the things that will benefit you and help you grow and have that growth, and always just do your best. Like, my saying is, I just do my best. It used to be, I just try, but now I realize, when I quote Yoda now, there is no try. There's only do.
That's right.
So for me, I changed that saying to, I just do what I can. I do what I can. I do what I can. I do my best, and that's it.
That's right.
And that just applies to everything. And I also want to plug one more thing for you. Yeah. I always love this saying. It's, what is to give light must endure burning. And I personally love that saying a lot. I got to share that with a lot of other people.
Said it, man. He said it. He's the smart one. A man search
Well, I
for
learned
meaning.
it from you, though.
Well, I'm just an echo dude. I'm like a parrot. I'm Dr. Viktor Frankl's parrot.
Well, I got to be able to share that man's quote with other people too, and it's very important. And I always like that saying, and I want to strive to be that light, and I have to endure that burning for other people. And to me, that's my healthy outlet.
Got
for
to,
other
bro.
people.
Got to.
And that's all I have to say.
I appreciate you, Justin, man. Keep making a difference. Keep leading like you want to be led. In the words of General Nella, keep taking care of those warriors you got. And man, let's be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem or just problem admirers. To all of y'all listening out there, thank y'all for hanging with us. Hope you learned something. Hope you gained something like that. Man search for meaning we talked about. He talked about Carol DeWitt, growth mindset, grit, right? These are tangible tools, man. Keep learning, keep growing, because if we don't, we become stagnant. And stagnation is how I said, man, stagnation leads to degradation. So keep on growing, keep flowing. Be water, my friends. Much love. Monchichi Rex, take us out, brother. Yeah, this has been episode 57, and y'all already know what I'm gonna say. I will say I'm gonna plug my own book, All Things Considered. It's on sale on Amazon right there, 33 Gems of Resilience. There's some good things in there. Actually, some of the stuff we said today, but here's the thing. We are sponsored by Nobody, baby. Episode 57. Y'all be good. Appreciate you. Much love. Make good choices.